Welcome everybody to the set of the Building Equity Podcast for real estate investors. My name is James Schlimmer, CEO of Equity Real Estate Services, and there's a major hurricane heading towards Florida. And I live in Florida. We're hunkered down, but our affiliate IRA Title Pro asked for me to cut this video because we're getting a number of phone calls from our investors asking, hey, what happens to my transaction, my closing, when a hurricane comes? This is going to be brought to you by IRA Title Pro. If you are buying or selling real estate with your IRA, you need to know about IRA Title Pro, a national closing company that will give you incredible peace of mind, a national closing company that can close on average 11 days faster. The investor no longer has to act as the middleman. Head over to iratitlepro.com and you can check out why you should use them on your next transaction. But also, take a look at the resources section. I'll throw the mouse over there so you can see it. We have a number of free tools that investors can use at every step of their real estate journey, whether they're buying, selling, lending, before they get under contract, while they're under contract, and after. Head over to IRA Title Pro and you'll get a chance to look at that. Now, I'm not allowed to give you any legal advice. I'm not allowed to give you any financial advice. This is strictly for educational, entertainment purposes here. And just so you know, I'm not giving any legal advice. A lot of what you're going to hear me say is that the answer to your question is in your sales contract. Your real estate agent is not allowed to interpret that sales contract. Your closing company, title company like IRA Title Pro, our team is not allowed to interpret that sales contract. So if you find yourself in a pickle where the seller says one thing and a buyer says a different thing and you cannot come to an agreement, you're both going to have to retain counsel and see where it actually goes for you. But the question goes here is, what happens? I'm a buyer and I can't close today because I can't get homeowner's insurance on the property. No insurance company is going to bind insurance when a storm is this close to Florida, right? Clearly, we're only talking about Florida real estate transactions here because that's what Hurricane Ian is going to affect. So the sales contract specifically defines what happens in these events. So many well-written sales contracts, if a buyer can't close, for instance, sometimes there's extended days until the storm passes, until they can close. Again, the answer is in your sales contract. Also, a number of sales contracts have language in them about natural disasters, acts of God, these hurricanes, right? Chances are there's services that can't be performed to actually conduct your closing. Like, for instance, most title companies are probably going to be closed tomorrow, where if you had a closing tomorrow, you wouldn't be able to do it. You can't ask a buyer to go to a bank to wire money in the middle of a hurricane. So your sales contract is what you want to pull out right now and start to see, who's responsible for what. Other question that we get here is, what if there's damage to the property? Do I still have to purchase the property? And again, there's specific language in the contract that addresses that. A lot of times sellers call and say, well, it's an as-is contract. I'm not supposed to have to do anything. That may not be the case based on your contract, right? There are seller obligations to maintain the property at the level when the buyer saw it. Again, you have to look at your sales contract to see what's what. Now, usually, both parties want to act in good faith, right? After the storm comes, you can see what the damage is and try to work it out. If you can't, seller has to get an attorney, buyer has to get an attorney. This one's important because this question is something that we're getting all the time. A buyer can't call IRA Title Pro and say, I no longer want this deal, please send me my deposit back. No title company is going to just unilaterally make that decision, meaning we can't agree with a buyer just because he said so. We need joint written instructions from both the seller and the buyer where they both agree to where that deposit goes. And if we don't have that and there's a conflict between the two, we will literally sit there and wait for 60 days. And if there's no resolution, we interplead those funds. We literally send those funds to the clerk of courts in the county where the property is located, and both parties work out. The important thing here is that everybody remains safe, right? This storm is a monster. This storm is going to affect Florida, no question about it. So please make sure that you take care of your properties. Please make sure you take care of your loved ones. There's going to be significant storm surge here with Hurricane Ian. So please, this is, sorry to knock that mic. This is not a storm to mess around with. I've lived in Florida for 30 years, and we're taking this extremely serious. So I wish everybody a safe couple days. I hope everybody's property remains well, and as soon as we can get back to work, our team at IRA Title Pro is still going to be working. We're a national title company. I may be without power for a couple days, but I wish everybody well. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you soon.